Bethany, so I just started the live stream. If you wouldn't mind letting me know that we look good on the back end there, that'd be great.
Yeah, just 1 second.
Or
All right, looks good to me. We're all set.
great. Well, thanks everyone for your attendance this evening. This is the Historic District Commission meeting for the city of Frostburg. Welcome everyone. And with that, Dawn, if you'd like to take over the reins, that'd be great. We're ready to go.
All right. Thanks, LJ. I would like to call to order the Historic District Commission meeting of May 10th, 2021. If we could please do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United
States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands,
which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The Frostburg Historic District Commission implements the city's Historic Preservation Overlay District of the Frostburg Zoning Ordinance, Section 4, as adopted in 2014, pursuant to the authority granted by the Maryland Land Use Article, Section 8, as adopted in 2012, of the Annotated Code of Maryland. This meeting is open to the public and is conducted in compliance with the State of Maryland's Open Meetings Act. The Frostburg Historic District Commission is charged with the preservation of historic structures and the surroundings within the designated district in order to safeguard the heritage of the city, stabilize and improve property values, strengthen the local economy, and foster civic beauty. All right, we are ready for the roll call. I am Chair Dawn Hein. Joseph Hoffman. I don't believe Mr. Hoffman is with us today. William Determan.
Here.
Robert Rephan.
Here.
Maureen Brewer.
Here.
And alternate Daniel Filer. I don't believe Daniel is with us this evening. All right, commissioners, if you would please review the agenda, and once you have done so, if I could have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second it.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, agenda passes. All right. And the same for the minutes from our previous meeting of March of 2021. If you would please take a moment to review those minutes.
I'll move we approve the minutes. Rob Rephan.
I'll second that. Bill Determan.
All right, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, minutes pass. All right, we can then move on to our project presentations for this evening. Our first one is Darrin Broadwater, 52 West Main Street. Mr. Broadwater, if you would give us a synopsis of your project and tell us what you're looking to do.
Sure. This is my first HDC experience, so I actually didn't prepare anything beyond the package. But I'm happy to walk through and just kind of talk about what we'd like to do and why and how we'd like to do it. So we bought this house, I think, about 3 years ago, and it's got part of the selling point was it's got this great, nice, large backyard. It's fenced in for our dog, which has been lovely. The problem we've been having that we're trying to resolve is there are a couple. We have a lot of western sunlight that comes in the evening, which is great and warm and sunny on a day like this. The problem is it makes it kind of unusable in the summertime because there's really there are a few mature trees, but they're not really in a place where we can benefit from the shade from them. So the intention here was to create a small patio kind of place where we could spend some time. In addition, also to have a kind of a gazebo type area where we can kind of get in from the sun when it's still out. And then, when it rains, we could be there too. And essentially kind of to do this in a way that is compatible and not overbearing for our neighbors. We have on Mechanic Street, kind of right behind us. We're on Main Street, of course. Right behind us from Mechanic Street, we have neighbors whose houses kind of are immediately on the road, so they kind of look into our backyard. So we're hoping to kind of get some screening here too, some screening trees. I was a little intimidated by this process, so I early on brought in a designer to kind of help us lay out our thoughts for what we're trying to do. And to get it down on paper and benefit from her take on it as well. And so that's included in the package, and that probably gives a much better idea of what we'd like to do than I could stand here and tell you in my words. So I'm happy to talk about any of the plans. If you have questions or elaborations that you'd like from what we've submitted, but I think that's probably a better description than I'd be able to give you now. The pavilion is essentially, this is a model of the size that we're going for. But as I note in the write-up there, the roof, we'd like to do a shingle roof to be consistent with the house and the surrounding houses. But of course, these, the idea with the pavilion is we could just, have one brought in. One that's compatible, so that is something we'll be ordering, and there is some customization there. So I mean, any of these kind of design details are negotiable for what you guys think would be. Give some suggestions on what might be appropriate. Certainly open to hearing them.
So the question that I have is, the pavilion is not actually connected to the house in any way. Is that correct?
That's correct.
As far as the patio, are there already stairs down off of what I can see off to toward the residence? Is that already there, or would you have to build it?
Yeah, those there are two stairways there in that plan. The stairs adjacent to the residence are existing currently. The steps kind of between the patio and the walkway are proposed.
Okay. And then where does that elevation come from for the walkway down to the patio?
It's real hard to tell in the plan there, but there is kind of a natural incline on the driveway there is adjacent to Sowers Funeral Home parking lot. And so that whole, essentially the top of the page there, that whole property line is parking lot. And it's a little bit higher. You can kind of see right there. Yeah, you can see the elevation.
Okay.
So that that essentially we're trying to grade it so that both the lower and the upper part are level. But in doing that, we have to accommodate the incline and the grade. So the wall is kind of splitting the difference and making a level upper part, a level lower part, and then the grade difference with the wall.
Yeah, Rob, if you take a look at figure 5, I think that's the steps you're referring to, right? The steps right there.
Right there.
Oh, okay, okay.
I think those are the ones that are.
So it'd only be a step or two from that one. Okay.
Is there already a fence up around your property? Did you say that?
There is a fence now, yes. Yeah, you can probably in one of the, let me see if I can find one of the pictures where you can see it best. There's in attachment 2, page 1, you can see the top of the fence right there. It's a kind of the front of the house is there's a bit of a wrought iron fence, but that's just kind of things that he's pieced together. The bulk of the yard is that I don't know, but it's like a wire fence with posts on it. And I think that was the fellow that had the house before us, Gary Ritchie, who you guys may have some experience with.
All right, are there any other questions from commissioners?
Did you say you're going to keep that fence or replace that fence, the one up towards ours?
I didn't say, but it stays. We're not.
Okay.
I haven't gotten the estimate yet exactly, but I think we're in for enough money on the project as it stands. I'm not looking to expand the scope at all.
I didn't see that, but I just thought maybe I missed it. So
Sure. Better, better see.
What's your plans for planning for privacy? Are you doing trees, shrubs?
Yes, for primarily shrubs. If you look back at the plan, we've kind of got we have the placeholders for the plants down, and I think they're within a ballpark estimate of what we ultimately intend to do. We've not gotten down into the level of a per plant decision. But I do think there'll be the ones with E are existing. And then the ones without an E, the little circles without an E would be new, like new plants. So yeah, probably some form of shrub, bush, tree, something that looks nice that the landscaper recommends. Something hopefully
Okay.
a little bit of a barrier.
All right, do we have any public questions or comments?
No, Chair Hein. Public comment was open until 4 p.m. today. And we have any comment.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if there is no further discussion, can I have a motion, please?
This is Maureen Brewer. I'll make a motion. I have studied the application and all relevant documents and presentation related to this case, and I'm familiar with the property in question. I find that the proposed changes are compatible with the neighborhood because there's a general compatibility of exterior design, scale, proportion, arrangement, texture, and materials to be used. Based on these findings, I move to approve the proposal as use of exterior materials closely or similar in appearance to original materials or significant buildings in the district pursuant to section 1-1-J-1C and 4-1J2G and 4-1-J-2. That's J. I think that's J, the little J.
I second that motion. Bill Determan.
All right, having a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, hearing none opposed, your project has passed.
Great. Thank you all for your time. I appreciate your help.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Good luck.
Thank you very much, Mr. Broadwater. We'll be in touch.
All right, our next project is David Cotton, 66 West Main Street, retaining wall replacement.
Yeah,
So-
hi, good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. I may have a little lag here. I don't know, but you're freezing and coming up. So hopefully this works flawlessly right now that I'm speaking. I'm sure it won't, but anyway, this is the second major renovation we probably attempted in the last 3 years. The first was the rebuilding of the porch, which we came to you and did receive approval. This is for the replacement of the existing wall, and it runs on the side of the house. It's approximately 70 feet long. 53 feet of that 70 feet long wall is 30 inches high, and 17 feet of it is 40 inches high. So we're right in the middle of having a wall that is fairly significant in order to hold the property landscaping back on the upper side of the property, which is 68 West Main. As you can see in the picture, the wall is leaning approximately 8 inches off of center. So it's been like that since we moved in the house when I was younger. I'm sure it's a little more than it was back then, but the wall was in significant state of disrepair. So what we were going to do, we were having the wall taken out and having it replaced. It won't be any larger. It won't have an impact on what you can see, what you couldn't see before. So it won't actually, interfere with the view from next door or anything like that. So the wall still will be 30 inches high for 53 feet and 40 inches high for 17 feet. We were going to use a precast concrete, which is an E.P. Henry product. It is in pewter. It is very similar in color to what is existing there. The old cement that was in place was probably put in, I'd say, the early 1900s, probably right around 1905 to 1910 when the addition was put on. And just to have cement poured and look that color is impossible to do. The closest thing I think we have is that type of wall. We will have to encroach on the neighbor's property while we do construction. And that's one thing that helped out with using the precast blocks was they can carry them back and it's not going to cause as much damage as having a full loaded cement truck back there. So the wall, the pewter and color wall, like I said, is an E.P. Henry product. It does have a structural integrity to stand on its own up to 48 inches, and it will not be 48 inches. So. Does anyone have any questions at all?
David, will the wrought iron be put back on top? Is that the plan?
Well, it's about, I want to say maybe 2 of them are actually sunk in the concrete. I did tell the contractor we want to try to save those. If anything, we may lose 2 of the little tiny thin wrought iron pieces, not a whole section at all. But I mean, it just depends on if you can get the concrete taken off of those rods. And of course, if those rods are even still there, they're totally deteriorated like the rest of the wall.
So I'm still a little confused. Does that mean that if they're deteriorated to a point, you will not replace the?
No, Bill, the entire wrought iron fence will remain. There are 2 of the little, you can see where they come together closer. if someone could maybe cursor over one in the front, where they come together closer and they cross. Those
Yeah.
two pieces way up at the very, very edge of the house near the cement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two little tiny pieces is in the concrete embedded. Just don't know. I mean, the rest of the wall was full of rebar. The back wall fell 2 years ago. And, all that rebar was totally, deteriorated. So it just depends. We're not taking that wrought iron down. The wrought iron will stay. We just may lose those two little, those loopy sections at the one end, and that's it. Yeah.
So just to be clear, the wall being replaced is along the side of the house or along the front as well?
There's no wall on the front. It's all on the side. If I could share my screen, I have pictures. Is that possible to do, LJ or Bethany?
Sure.
Okay. Let me just see how well. It says you've disabled attendee sharing.
I'm sorry, David, I might not be able to go back and reset that during
Yeah.
the meeting.
Okay, no, I guess that's okay.
I apologize.
No, the wall is on the west side of the house and it's in between 66 and 68. So yeah. Is there another picture lower? That's a little closer up. Yeah.
This is the
That's
biggest,
better.
this is the best close-up that shows it right here. Unfortunately, it is kind of in the shadow.
Okay.
This farther back view, you can see
It's
the
not
bulk
very
of the wall.
visible from the main.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not truly visible from Main Street. A corner of it is. The majority, you would have to actually stand in front of it to see it, because that walkway is only 3 feet wide and then it goes to 4.5.
LJ, if you zoom that bottom photo at 200%, you can get a pretty good view on that section that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, if we don't do something, it will fall. I mean, it's just a matter, I guess, of if it's concrete or it's a block.
Is that a little better view?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Can you
Yeah,
put the
thanks,
cursor
Elder.
where the wall starts? I mean, the top of the wall? I can't tell.
Yeah.
Right here.
Oh, okay. It's up that high. Okay.
Yeah, that's 30 inches, and then it goes back to 40.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, commissioners, do you have any further questions for Mr. Cotton?
Not for me.
No.
All right, did we have any public comment?
No public comment was received.
All right, commissioners, can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion. Rob Rephan. I studied the relevant application and the relevant documents and presentation related to the case, and I'm familiar with the property in question, and I find that the proposed changes are compatible with the neighborhood because there's a general compatibility of exterior design, scale, proportion, arrangement, texture, and materials to be used. Based on these findings, I move to approve the proposal because the materials are similar to the existing, pursuant to section 4.1.J.1.C, 4.1J2D, and 4.1.J2G.
Maureen, I'll approve it. Second it, I'm sorry.
All right, having a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, motion passes.
Thank you very much, David. We'll be in touch.
All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
All right, our next presentation is Rodney and Katie Buskirk, 68 West Main Street fence installation.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
We are proposing the installation of a fence that will go across our property between our house and the house next door, 66. Attached are the construction design pictures for the fence. It is vinyl. It's only 4 feet. It is a picket style that is tongue and groove put together with posts and supporting posts across the top and bottom. We are also adding a gate. We primarily need it for safety. We have grandchildren now that are out toddling around the yard, and we also have pets that having a barrier there with the traffic on Main Street has become essential. In addition, on the one picture I think that was inserted was an aerial view with measurement. The actual fence is back a little further than that is recording at 64 feet. When we hand measured it, it was minimum 75, and that was from the edge of the curb. But give or take 5 feet. So it could be 75 to 80 feet. So it would be the backyard. There is a partial fence there now. So the fence that we're creating that can be seen in a picture that was drawn in, I think under the fence specs, further down would be to take it across and then in an L shape, follow the line on our property line and back off of the property next door who are fixing their wall and their back drainage, the drainage behind the wall. So it would be offset off the property line for that. There's a tree, a larger tree and a smaller shrub tree that you can see. They would be in front of the fence. The fence would be behind that tree.
Katie, you said 4 feet high?
Yes, 4 feet.
And then is there any kind of a fence in the back that goes along Mechanic Street or?
Currently there is, and it's 4 feet.
Okay.
And there's a fence along alley 55 that is also 4 feet that sits on top of a retaining wall. Because the elevation of 55 is higher than the alley 55 is higher than the yard.
Yeah, so that's just west of your house?
Yes,
Yes.
that's alley 55.
Hi, Katie, it's Maureen.
Hi.
What are the existing fences? What's the materials that they're made of? Are they also vinyl?
No, they're wood.
Okay.
They were here before we bought the house.
All right, commissioners, do we have any further questions?
Not for me.
Oh,
All right, did we have any public comment, LJ?
Fortunately, we did not. Public comment was open until 4 p.m. today, and we have not received any comment on this application.
All right, commissioners, do I have someone ready to make a motion?
Bill Determan, I will make the motion. I have studied the application and all relevant documents and presentations related to this case. I am familiar with the property in question. I find that the proposed changes are compatible with the neighborhood because they and general compatibility of the exterior design, scale, portions, arrangements, and so on. Based on these findings, I move to approve the proposal because the use of exterior materials are closely similar in appearance to original materials or significant building in the district pursuant to section 41J1C and 41J2G.
This is Maureen Brewer. I'll second that.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. I lost power there for a minute and then
It's okay, Mrs. Buskirk. Just to recap, Mr. Determan made a motion to approve the application, and Mrs. Brewer seconded that motion for a vote.
okay, thank you.
Sure. Understand these things happen.
All right, having a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And hearing none opposed, motion passes.
Thanks very much, Mrs. Buskirk. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katie.
Thanks.
All right, our next project is the Hotel Gunter, 11 West Main Street, rear outdoor dining improvements.
Okay, we were last year we rented a tent and turned one of our parking lots into an outdoor dining area. And this year we thought we'd do something a little more permanent. We're currently in the process of replacing the paving that was deteriorating with concrete, and we would like to build a pergola above that. It'll measure approximately 30 feet. 35 feet by 70 feet. It would be attached to the existing building that is out back there that currently houses our winery and brewery and distillery. It'll have a metal roof, lighting underneath, and kind of be sort of set up like it was last year, with the tent there, but
So the drawing that we're looking at currently, is that for the concrete you were referring to?
the concrete, that's the bottom, that's a cross section showing the concrete, couple posts going up. That you're looking at that sideways is the problem. So the to the left of that photo would be where the roof line is with the beam. There'll be several posts across there to support the beam.
Will the pergola run the whole length of that building then?
Yeah, all but like 2 feet.
Okay. So it'll cover that door, that smaller door that's up closer to the alley.
They'll cover all the doors, the garage doors and everything.
Okay.
It'll be above them.
Is
They'll be
the
accessible.
pergola going to be made of wood?
Yes. Yeah, it'll have a metal roof. We'd like to do galvanized if we can find it. Construction materials right now are pretty hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
So last year we had a fence around the whole thing. Fence will still stay there. It's down right now, but it'll be built back like that. And then the roof line will come out right underneath the roof line that you can kind of see down a little bit, LJ. Right there. It'll come out right underneath that roof line.
And you said it would be 35 feet out from the building?
Yeah, approximately, yeah.
Will that be about where the other fence was then?
Yeah, it'll cover the whole paved area.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So is the metal roof going to be a flat roof? Is it going to be?
It'll be pitched slightly, enough for runoff, like a 212 pitch, probably.
All
2
right.
or a 312. It goes from it's a building. We have about 11 feet, and then it'll go down to probably 9 feet at the far end.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bill, you can see that in the drawing right above this picture it's on the, you can see how the roof is going to.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, I didn't see it before. Thanks, Maureen.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right, commissioners, do we have any other comments or questions?
Not for me.
All right, LJ, did we have any public comment?
No, Chair, we had no public comment for this application.
All right, commissioners, can I have a motion, please?
This is Maureen Brewer. I'll make a motion. I have studied the application and all relevant documents and presentation related to this case, and I'm familiar with the property in question. I find that the proposed changes are compatible with the neighborhood because there is a general compatibility of exterior design, scale, proportion, arrangement, texture, and materials to be used. Based on these findings, I move to approve the proposal because the use of exterior materials are closely similar in appearance to original materials of significant buildings in the district pursuant to section 4-1-J-1C, 4-1-J-2-G, and 4-1-J-2-1.
I second it, Rob Rephan.
All right, having a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donnie. We'll be in
Thank you.
touch.
All right, our next presentation is Mark Ledford, 53 South Broadway, side porch enclosure.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
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 Hi, so I'm proposing putting an addition on the side porch of the 53 Broadway house. Currently there's a porch there that doesn't really fit with my plans there for this. It's a rental property, and I'm looking to put a bedroom in there. It'd be an 8 by 12. It would basically fall right underneath the where there's a open area the porch is. If you have the room above there, the wall would fall down there, and then on the front of the house you can kind of see where it comes out there, kind of where the shrubs are, that round shrubs are there. I'd just be trying to follow that. It wouldn't be sticking up past that or anything. There's already a concrete slab there for the porch that's extends out 6 feet. I'd just be looking to extend 2 more feet there to meet the side of the house. There's a window there on the porch now. That's the dining room's on the other side. I'd be looking to just move that window out to the exterior wall, and then close it all in there. The outside of the building is currently has aluminum siding. I would probably be looking to find some very similar matching vinyl siding as close as I can to match that and blend it in with it. So the interior that I would mimic the rest of the house there as well, with drywall in the walls, and upgrade the electrical and such. There's as you can see, there's also a ramp there that was installed at some point in time before I owned the property. I'll be looking to remove that from there. There's concrete steps there that would no longer serve a purpose. Those would be removed there.
So the 8 foot that we're talking about, how, once you get to 8 feet, how many feet past the outside wall would that put us? 2 feet?
It would actually, if you see towards the street there on the front side of the apartment, it sticks out 2 feet further than the porch here where the concrete is. So it would actually be the same width as that.
So it would be flush
12 feet
with.
there from.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Correct. To be at the front wall you see there.
And then what happens with the area above it, above the current porch? Because the new room will stick out past that. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would probably put some, extend and put some shingles there, so it extends out to where the new extra wall would. The rain runoff and everything.
So you're saying that the concrete slab is 6 feet wide right now? And you're going to add 2 more feet to that?
Yes.
Which means it won't come all the way out to that corner part.
It should come out 2 more feet past that. Yeah, so it's flush with the outside wall.
Flush with
there.
the outside wall.
If you see the picture, so if you see like the back there,
yes,
covered in the trees there, that back part of the apartment, that extends out the same distance as the front side.
Okay.
There, it's just where that porch is.
So you're just
Yes.
going to make it a solid wall. There will be no indentation or budding out there.
Correct, yeah.
And how many windows into that room are going to be there?
I'm probably just going to be putting one window there in the picture there.
The same style window
Takes
that's
it out to the south side wall.
the same style window, the double hung.
Correct. This will help also, I think, for the upstairs there where you see all those windows. There's like 6 windows side by side. There's kind of an open right in there. Yes, there's an open area there that leads. It's pretty cold in wintertime because you have it's open. I think keeping the heat in there.
How will you support the weight of that overhang then? Because right now you've got three posts on that porch supporting that upper story.
Yes, so most likely put a header beam in there. There's one post there in the middle that is the most noticeable. The one on the other side is, almost on the side of where that room will be. It won't be affected as much. And then the third trees is not in the picture for this. The addition won't be extending that far.
I'm trying to orient myself. I did not drive by this property. This is on the side of the house, correct?
Correct.
Approximately how far setback from the road is that?
The addition part of it?
Yeah. Approximate.
Maybe 30 feet.
Okay.
20,
All right.
about
So
30 feet
it's
from
set more than halfway back on the house, definitely.
about halfway, yeah, I'd say.
Could you go back to that picture from the front?
Sure.
So you're talking about back to the left on this picture? That's where you're going to close in?
No.
It'd be on
It's
the
on the-
right-hand side.
On the
on the
right
right
side.
side.
Oh, so you can't, okay,
Right.
wrong angle, okay.
But if we look at this photo, Broadway, and you can see the church across the street. And so that gives you an idea of how far back set on the right side.
Okay. So how many bedrooms total will it be if you add another bedroom?
They would make it 4 bedrooms. Right now there's 3 upstairs. I was trying to make 2 in the back, and with the layout of the house, I can't do it. There's, weight bearing walls, and there's chimneys and things in areas that make it difficult to do. So downstairs, I see this would be really the only other place I could feasibly do it.
The only, I was trying to figure out if there was a way to give some indication that, you know, this wall, the whole side of the house was not flush at, you know, originally. If there was a way to, you know, keep the width that you're looking for, but indicate in some way, you know, that's there, this was an infill or, from the outside. I don't know if that's possible. I'm just kind of throwing that out there.
Okay. Yeah.
It's probably it's gonna look different unless you completely reside that side, right?
Well, that's what I was thinking is there going to have to be some transition between the existing siding and the new siding that you're going to put up for the new wall?
I guess, yeah, you'd have a break there, you know, between the new siding and old siding. As far as putting something there. Probably just be like some vinyl wrap or something, you know, then you'll have a separation a couple inches and then it'll go into the new siding. Being that the siding's, you know, probably a couple decades old, I don't know if I can reasonably find anything that's going to be a close match, you know, with the lines that would match up to that or not.
Does that rent out as a single house, or how does it rent out?
It could have been before I had it. I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of laid out like it was a single house, but it had some shared areas, you know, like some shared common areas based on how some doors, you know, were bolted off and so forth. It currently has one kitchen and one full bathroom. I'm looking to do some more renovations inside the house as well.
LJ, can you go back to the full side view thing?
Sure.
Picture.
That one?
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at that picture, it would extend out to that middle post, the second post there on the porch. There's another area past that. That'll probably just leave as it is for now. That's the main door there that goes to the basement.
That's what I was just going to ask. What? Lots of doors there.
So there's a lot in a small area.
So you're not going to enclose the whole width there. You're going to leave a space to still access that door?
I think I want to leave that other part.
LJ, switch
Like
to
it's
the
closed.
close-up of the section, please. Yeah. So the room's going to be 8 foot by 10 foot? Is that what you're saying?
12 foot,
12 foot.
8 by
So
12.
we're looking at that second pole now. That's where it's going to end, and then there's going to still be a,
Recess.
yeah.
There'll still be a recess to access the door to the basement
Yes, so in
then.
that view there, yeah, I think I'll just leave that and just this portion here that you can.
So you have not checked to see if there is aluminum siding close to that you could put on there?
Not yet. Still
Because
doing
the
on a special order
vinyl
basis right now,
siding
but
would probably be a much narrower strip than the aluminum siding that's currently on there.
yeah, there's probably gonna be a difference there, the design from what's on the market now versus what's on the house. I'd just be looking to get something as close as possible to match that.
So I guess I want to understand exactly. So you said that it's going to come out to all the way out flush to, it's hard for me because I have the arrow, I'm running the arrow. That's it, LJ. Okay, it's going to come all the way out to there. So then you're going to have a little roof that extends out from there, correct?
Yes, there'd be a little bit of roof there to extend out to the flush with the outside wall. And then it would just run down the same as the front wall.
Okay, so you're going to put shingles there, or what are you going to? How are you going to manage that little bit of roof?
Probably I'll do shingles to match the rest of the house, the same pattern.
It's definitely going to change the way the house looks from the back.
Yes, it is.
that's why I was wondering if there was some way to, indicate the new addition, especially since you are going to have, or there's a potential to have a change in materials from the aluminum to the vinyl. And you'll have, I'm not sure how those would meet up, how that would work exactly. Does it make sense to have a frame, so to speak, like a vertical piece as a transition between the existing and the new?
Yes, I mean, I could certainly run like a J channel there, transition between the current siding to the new siding there. And then you'd have that break there that transitions into it for the addition. But
Commissioners, what do you think of that? Would that help define that new addition?
Well, there's going to have to be some kind of transition, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, that was kind of like my hang up was like, I don't think the vinyl and the aluminum aren't going to match since the aluminum's so much older than what the new materials are going to be. I think having that transition will actually look much better and like on purpose.
And it might help clean up some of the coming together of the two, and create a barrier between the two different sizes. All right. Are there any further questions, commissioners? All right. Do we have any public comment, LJ?
No public comment was received on this application.
All right. Are you ready to make a motion, commissioners?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. Rob Rephan. I've studied the application and all relevant documents and presentation related to this case. I'm familiar with the property in question. I find that the proposed changes are compatible with the neighborhood because there is a general compatibility of design, scale, proportion, arrangement, texture, and materials. And based on these findings, I move to approve the proposal because the use of exterior materials are closely similar in appearance to original or significant buildings in the district. Could we make the stipulation that there be a break, or do we need to do that between the two?
You can certainly add a stipulation to your motion.
I would move that there be a break between the existing outside and the new addition, a vertical break. Not break, but a covering. What's the right word?
Transition.
Transition. And that's pursuant to section 4.1.J.1.B and 4.1J2D and 4.1J21.
I will second that motion.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Having a motion and a second, All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, hearing none opposed, motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Ledford. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you
Thank
joining us
you.
this evening.
All right, I think that is the end of the new presentations for this evening. We do have some old business, the historic preservation contractor list.
Yes. So at our last meeting, the commissioners had expressed a need for contractors specializing in historic preservation projects. This is just a draft version, and I am very open to suggestions for additions to this list. I started with the Maryland Historic Trust Directory of Contractors. That didn't get me very far. Most of the contractors listed there are based in the Baltimore and DC areas. And the closest that I found to Western Maryland was east of Frederick. So I next went to the Allegheny County Chamber of Commerce contractors listings. I found a couple there, and that's what you see listed here. But as far as masonry specialists, stucco, windows, things like that, I haven't gotten very far in my search for local contractors that specialize in historic preservation of those three items.
Hey, Bethany, this is Maureen. You may want to go west, like maybe look in Grantsville and Somerset and even Bedford County.
Okay, sure.
That's a good idea.
And you also may want to talk with, I'm blanking on her name, in Cumberland. Oh my goodness.
Kathy McKinney, perhaps?
Yes, thank you. She may have some good ideas of who does that locally, that's been used, that they've approved there in Cumberland.
That's a very good idea. Thank you for that suggestion.
Or masonry, what about the person that built or that redid the building that was Bogey's on Main Street that was, I guess, one time the Republican Club, right across the street from Bowery, because he repointed that whole side, and I think that's his business.
All right.
Yes.
I will look into that.
That is Chris Schott from Pyramid Builders. He also happens to be the contractor doing the repair on the Dante's building.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he was subcontracted by Rick Gernal, who is the general contractor on that project.
Great. Well, I will definitely add Pyramid Builders to the list for masonry. And like I said, I'll reach out to Kathy McKinney, and then I'll start looking around in our neighboring Pennsylvania counties as well.
Yeah. Also, for the masonry pyramid builders, a lot of times they just specialize in either commercial or residential. So we may need to specify whether they only deal in commercial, because sometimes they'll just say the job isn't big enough and they don't want to do it.
Right.
In an old house, you're like all getting excited, someone's going to work on your house, and they go, no, we can't, your house isn't big enough or whatever. So,
Sure. Alrighty. Well, these are all great suggestions. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, new business, MAHDC training workshop opportunity for connecting with your community.
Yes, Kathy McKinney has been in touch with me. I believe I forwarded you information about this training opportunity, but the focus of the training is connecting with your community. And as I had mentioned in the previous email, it's focused on summarizing what your community needs, what our community needs to know about what the commission does, who you are, how to convey the message, with the groups that the commission is engaging with, employing creative strategies to generate interest and to circulate information about the district, and then to improve the commission's public image. So that is taking place on actually on Wednesday from 3 to 5 p.m. I asked Kathy if it will be recorded in case any of the commissioners want to view it, but can't make that time work. She said typically in the past they have not been recorded, but she said that she would be in touch if a recording does become available. And we're still waiting on the, I guess it'll happen on Zoom. I'm honestly not 100% sure, but as soon as that link gets shared with me, I will be sending it out to the commissioners.
Thanks.
And LJ, I just wanted to thank you for responding to my questions. I remember we had talked about the church's wrought iron fencing a while back, and I just didn't know, it had been so long. I didn't know if I had missed something, or if, maybe they were still planning had the same plans as previously discussed, so.
Yeah, we had discussed that, and you're absolutely right. That was quite a while ago. At that point, the fence was still standing, but I think over the last 2 winters, they had been severe enough that the marble columns fell over. And so that afforded the opportunity to remove the wrought iron and treat it and recoat it. So they're good. And I had shared the YouTube videos and the preservation briefs that we've collected over the years on how to, properly care for that iron.
Right.
So I think the end result will be beautiful, and it'll be a true historic restoration.
That's exciting.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I'd just like to give you a quick update on 2 other properties in town that are undergoing some renovations. One is the Dante's building. If you'll recall, last spring, the same storm that destroyed a number of the tall spruce trees at the Spruce Artisan Village adjacent to Penn Alps in Grantsville loosened the cap at the top of the parapet of the Dante's building enough that it tore some bricks loose and they fell down to the street, and the area had to be barricaded. And Rick Gernal was called in to take a look. He's also a contractor who worked on the building at 79 East Main Street that was adjacent to the fire location. He worked on that brick to restore it as well.
Okay.
So they had to send away the mortar, of course, to be tested and analyzed so that recipe could be recreated. And I think we may have noted back then that, something perhaps not so surprising that we're finding in our historic mortar in Frostburg is that it contains a large amount of coal ash, which makes sense because Frostburg was built largely on the coal boom. And so we're at the point now where she contracted from downstate to construct scaffolding in front of the building. And now Chris Schott of Pyramid Builders, who we mentioned earlier, is doing the brick restoration portion of that project. And that's why it had to be scaffolded all the way up to the top to protect everything below. And they're literally mixing the mortar in the back parking lot and repairing it brick by brick. So when they tore off 3 courses of the original brick, saved them. Because the project last year, they had to remove all the brick from the roof and store it because of concerns of snow load. The added brick would be too much. So then it was brought back, and it's all being put back as it was, piece by piece. So that's a true historic restoration as well, and rather labor intensive, but it'll look good when it's complete. Then you may have seen and you may have heard on social media or the Cumberland Times news that the Eastern Express restaurant on Main Street were damaged. And there was concern that they had been shot with a bullet or a pellet or something of that nature. There was a police investigation, and an alternate theory was proposed that it may simply have been the heavier portions of gravel and salt that get placed on the roadway in the wintertime to prevent cars from slipping on ice, to give them traction. No other situations like that came up, and I think it became very difficult to prove exactly what caused that damage. So to protect their glass and their storefront, the owners of Eastern Express boarded up the glass and painted it to match the color scheme of the building. Now that I have confirmation from our chief of police that the investigation is closed, and unfortunately their security video didn't turn up any kind of proof. So Bethany and I are working on drafting an outreach letter to discuss with the property owners what's an appropriate and within the historic guidelines way to replace the glass. And unfortunately, the whole panels of glass will have to be replaced. I'm surprised they didn't shatter based on the size of the holes that are in there with wood, but I do have the police reports on file, and so there will be a replacement project coming before you very soon for those windows. And we'll certainly guide them and provide the guidelines and any kind of the preservation briefs that are appropriate for that kind of storefront.
Would their insurance pay for any of that, do you know?
I would assume so, but we haven't broached the topic yet. So it's a chance to have a conversation. I'll learn more about that.
Okay, is there anything else for the good of the order this evening?
I was just gonna say, somebody has posted a couple pictures of the building across the street, the Au Petit, the historic version of it, and then the part that was damaged by the cyclone. Wouldn't it be awesome if you could get those? Because I'll bet those original windows or window frames are still there on that building. That would be neat if you could restore that.
They are. And we had discussed also with the new owner, Mr. Larry Guthrie, about as he starts to work on the facade, he knows to only go so far. Like what he proposes to do is remove a fleur-de-lis and see what's under there. And then stop at that point. So a true assessment can be made of how viable those historic storefronts are. And then at that point, he would certainly come before this commission to present any kind of alteration. There's interest from the Frostburg Museum. We've put representatives of the museum together with Mr. Guthrie to preserve some of those the iconic Au Petit fleur-de-lis and other pieces of decoration that they had added to the building because it was such, a popular restaurant for so many years in our town. So hopefully there'll be some commemoration of that at the museum.
Any more about whether Dante's is, I know they're working on the outside, but have they said anything about starting to open up again? Well, not Dante's, but Dig Deep.
I do not have an update on that for you this evening. Bethany, have you gotten any indication as far as an application for a use and occupancy permit yet? No, so I think at this point, we're still in a holding pattern and hoping for that to happen soon.
it looked like Aaron's name was still on the liquor license when I was looking at that list of liquor licenses.
I am aware that since the onset of the pandemic, those situations have been very difficult to resolve. With so many people teleworking, it's been really hard to update things like that. But my understanding is that it's moving forward now. We'll find that as our vaccination rates increase and our case rates decline, we'll start getting back to a normal pace in terms of updating applications and updating licensure and things like that. As a matter of fact, the governor's extension on permits, licensure, and registration is going to sunset June 30th. So that makes me think that state offices are prepared to start moving forward July 1st, unleashing licenses and permits and registrations.
I know
that's
the
what we're
Elks,
planning on doing at a local level also.
the Elks just had to redo theirs. I'm on the Elks liquor license, and we just did that about a month ago.
Were you able to get that processed in a timely manner?
Yeah, because we changed the
Okay.
name on it, so that was,
Okay.
the new name was on that list. That's kind of why I brought it up. That's why I paid
see.
attention to it.
Well, we'll be happy to do some outreach and follow up with you on our next.
All right, if there's nothing else, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 I'm sorry, I was muted. Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
She wants to stay on.
Yeah,
She
really.
does.
The dog kept barking. Sorry.
Hey, just before we go, I'm working on, I'm a team leader for the garden club with the baskets. And something I noticed in the addresses on something earlier, is West Main Street reversed as far as numbers? Because on this end of Main Street, the south end
Yes.
is odds.
Yes, on East Main Street, the north side is even numbers and the south side is odd numbers. On West Main Street, it's reversed. So the north side is odd and the south side,
Now, does
Is
that
even.
start at Water Street then?
Broadway.
Broadway.
Broadway is the defining point between east and west.
I didn't know that. In fact, I was thinking we had the numbers all wrong. We made this list by address of all the baskets in town. And I was sure that that was wrong, and I'm now sure that I was wrong. Oh, well. That'd be a good trivia question.
It would be.
Yeah. Well, thank you, LJ and Bethany. Appreciate your help with all of this and keeping us all on track.
Definitely.
Thank you, Dawn, and thank you all commissioners for everything you do to maintain our historic district and interface with our citizenry. We had a heavy agenda this evening, but a lot of good, probably your service to the community.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
Night.
Okay.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.